Hi, I'm Michael Conger. I'm the Entrepreneurship and Strategy Professor for the Prime Summer Program. As we saw in the last video, trying to define who an entrepreneur is based on some set of characteristics like their age, gender, race, education, work experience, their personality, all dead ends. Instead, we should think about entrepreneurship as a way to think about the world around us and the way that we interact in it. In this video, we're digging into the entrepreneurial method to help us understand how experienced entrepreneurs approach the world. More specifically, we'll look at the effectual principles that guide entrepreneurs' thinking, the kinds of tools that they use, and the way that they take action to find and develop opportunities to create new, valuable things in the world. So I've used the words effectual principles several times already. It's time to explain what that really means. Professor Sarasvathy is an influential thinker in the field of entrepreneurship research, and she looked closely at experienced entrepreneurs to figure out how they actually make decisions and take action. She found that they tend to view the world not through a causal lens, where the goal is to predict what will happen or what ideas will work in the future, but instead by engaging in a process that she calls effectuation, where the goal is to figure out how to build and test ideas and develop them into viable opportunities in the uncertain world we actually live in. In other words, effectuation is the way entrepreneurs figure out what to do when there's no playbook for what to do. We'll go through the 5 principles of effectuation one at a time, and I think you'll start to see what she means. The first is often called the bird in hand principle. Experienced entrepreneurs start with the resources they already have at hand rather than starting by looking for resources they think they might need to accomplish a specific goal. In other words, they start with the means, not the ends. A good way to understand this better is to think about how a chef cooks a dish. There are 2 basic ways to approach this. The first way, which is how most of us amateurs do it, is to start with a well-planned recipe, get the specific ingredients it calls for, and try to execute on that recipe's plan as precisely as possible. This obviously assumes that you're sure you're making the right recipe, that you can get all the ingredients that you need, and that you feel pretty confident it will turn out as you predicted. Otherwise, you're spending a lot of time, money, and effort to pull together ingredients that ultimately won't produce the dish that you wanted. Of course, there's another approach, one that experienced chefs tend to use. Instead of strictly following a recipe, the chef takes stock of the ingredients that she already has at hand. Maybe what's in season, fresh, and available at her local market on that particular day. Starting with those ingredients, she'll work to develop a dish. Although she probably has an initial idea for what the dish will end up being, she lets the means that she has at hand guide the direction she takes in developing the dish. The effectual entrepreneur is like the expert chef. She starts with her means, the people she knows, the knowledge, skills, and experience that she has, and the resources that she already controls, and uses them to figure out how to create new value. The next principle is affordable loss. Whatever your feelings are about gambling, it's pretty easy to agree on what actually happens when someone gets in over their head at a casino. They become focused on the possibility of winning, the potential upside of making that bet, and then they risk more and more money, more than they can afford. Losing a bet like that is devastating, and it brings a person's gambling adventure to a close pretty quickly, and possibly ruins them in the process. In order to take action and have a chance to create something new in the face of uncertainty, entrepreneurs have to make lots of bets. They're betting that their guesses about what will work might be right. We often hear stories about entrepreneurs betting big on their ideas, dropping out of school, quitting their jobs, maxing out their credit cards, mortgaging their houses, or putting their personal and professional reputation on the line in dramatic fashion. This makes for juicy stories, and it can seem like a go big or go home approach is what all entrepreneurs have to do. But experienced entrepreneurs rarely take this approach. Instead, the principle of affordable loss allows them to make bets and move forward without having to either get lucky or weather a devastating loss. Effectual entrepreneurs make bets they don't expect to lose, but they can afford to lose. In other words, rather than risking what it takes to chase the potential upside of being right, they focus on controlling the potential downside if they are wrong. This gives them the ability to try things, learn from mistakes, and survive to make more of the bets they need to keep moving forward. The third principle is simple to understand. When those bets don't work out, the effectual entrepreneur doesn't always see them as dead ends. Instead, she's willing to leverage the new things that she learned by failing and changing course. This seems a lot like the old "when life gives you lemons, make lemonade" adage, but there's actually a little more to it than that. Effectual entrepreneurs don't just accept and learn from failure. They allow unexpected outcomes to shape the opportunities they're pursuing, even though that often means abandoning the goals they had completely and doing something completely different. This means that making lemonade isn't just a way to cope with the unexpected disappointment of getting lemons. Effectual entrepreneurs don't see lemonade as the only option. Instead, they treat those lemons as potential starting point for creating something totally new and far more valuable. The fourth principle of effectuation is forming partnerships. By now, you've probably realized that taking an effectual approach to creating new and valuable things requires the entrepreneur to get their ideas out of their head, off the top secret basement whiteboard, and out into the real world to test. It's the only way to develop ideas into opportunities. To do this, she'll need to share her ideas with other people and get the resources together that she'll need to act on them, test them out, and develop them into something that can work. So this is where partnerships become critically important. We know that effectual entrepreneurs, like an expert chef, start with the resources they already have at hand, their means. By partnering with other people, the entrepreneur also gets access to the resources that those people bring to the table, expanding her means by adding theirs. This principle is often called the patchwork quilt principle because, like piecing together a quilt or a jigsaw puzzle, every entrepreneurial opportunity is unique and requires putting lots of different pieces together to figure out what combination can work. Partnerships are the key. The fifth and final principle really summarizes what effectuation is all about. Sarasvathy says it's the idea that we can actually deal with an unpredictable and uncertain future without having to predict the future. So, it all boils down to this overriding belief that the things you do matter and that you can have an effect on the world around you. You do so by starting with the things that you have under your control, your means. You join up with others, forming partnerships to co-create new opportunities to create new and valuable things in the world. You take action to develop these opportunities by trying and testing things in ways that will help you move forward without bringing your work to an end if and when they don't work as expected. That's affordable loss. And when some, or more likely most, of your ideas inevitably don't work, you use those experiences not just to recover from failure, but to find new opportunities. So now we can see that the principles of effectuation, the playbook that expert entrepreneurs use, are all complementary. And together, they can help us figure out what to do to develop opportunities to think and act entrepreneurially. There are a lot of great tools out there to help entrepreneurs take action in this way. They take some of the best insights from the worlds of lean organizational practices, design thinking, marketing, and the fields of anthropology, sociology, and psychology. We'll have a chance to work with some of these tools in our class time, and you can find information about them on the course Canvas site. So there you have it. In this short video series, we've looked into a couple big questions. What is entrepreneurship? What do entrepreneurs actually do? And how do they do it? I hope this may have given you a little inspiration to go out and try and practice these things yourself. Whatever kind of work you do, you can approach it entrepreneurially. I hope you'll give it a try. There are a lot of tools out there that can help you along your journey of learning to practice entrepreneurship. I've included links to some of them in the description below, or you can find them on the course Canvas site. Also, the stuff we cover in this video is based on the work and ideas of a lot of really great researchers and practitioners. Links to their work are included in the description below and on the Canvas site if you want to go a little deeper. And of course, I'm always happy to talk with you anytime. The easiest way to get in touch with me is through my website, profconger.com.